Hi guys, it's SkintBoot here, and today what I'm going to be bringing you guys is a No Man's Sky video. And in today's video, what I want to look at today is the future of No Man's Sky. I want to look very, very far into the future, and I'm going to be putting together a few points as to how I want to see the game develop, what I would like to see come out of the game in a year's time. Now, it is worth noting that all of these points are all in my own opinion, and none of these are guaranteed to ever come out. This isn't a what's likely to be in the future. This is more of just a wish list, so don't expect any significant evidence or what have you, but there will probably be another video for something a bit more realistic, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, that's just about all it takes for the intro. Not really a lot to say, so let's get started. Now, the first thing which I want to jump into is easily one of the biggest requests for the PC community, and to be honest, it's probably the most likely point on this list to actually become a reality, and that is official mod support. No Man's Sky, ever since launch really, has had a really strong modding community, with creators like Rayrod creating absolutely amazing works of art that are truly game-changing. I swear, he actually needs to be hired. But mods do wonders for No Man's Sky, and a lot of mods do stuff before Hello Games actually gets to it, and also a lot of stuff that comes from updates released by Hello Games are inspired by mods. It's essentially the community's way of highlighting what they are unhappy with, but in a lot more constructive and positive manner. But to make all of this miles better, Hello Games needs to release official modding tools to help authors create mods. A prime example of this would be something like the creation kit that Bethesda has for its games like Skyrim and Fallout, that allow users to create more complex mods in a much user-friendlier way. For example, with Fallout 3, the GEC, the Garden of Eden creation kit, or whatever the fuck it was called. It was like some Fallout reference. I think the GEC was like something in it. I don't know. With this, you can make free mods and you can add it to the game. I'm not a modder, I don't know how it works, but I do know that it is a lot easier than how mod developers at the moment are working with No Man's Sky, which is not user-friendly in the slightest and is, from what I can gather, quite restricted. Now, having official tools would arguably allow creators to make mods on a scale not currently seen. The content would be less B-Tech, I guess you could say. I mean, don't get me wrong, I really appreciate the modding that has been done, but it's near enough all the same kind of mods, if you know what I mean. If you have a look at the mod page, there is a general pattern, and majority of the time you can clearly tell it's a mod, with a few exceptions where it's done very well. There just needs to be that added bit of polish that an API could give mods. And the thing is, Hello Games are already starting to embrace mods. They've talked about a load on their Twitter page, they've advertised stuff like the Batmobile, shit like that, so it seems to be the most logical next step in helping mod creators get their work out to the public in the highest standards possible. Basically, at the end of the day, near enough everyone that has a PC and plays No Man's Sky doesn't play vanilla. Everyone uses mods because, frankly, it makes the experience a load better. Hello Games should be very open to supporting mods because it is beneficial for the game. And really, the community, especially the PC community, would love to see mods come out that are more complex, and at the end of the day, official mod tools do just that. Now, the next thing which I want to touch on is kind of similar to the last one, and that is actually mod support for consoles. To put it bluntly, I just want PS4 users to be able to experience some of the amazing mods available for PC, because obviously not everyone wants to buy a fat computer to experience No Man's Sky modded, and bringing mod support to consoles would remove this issue. If you were to say this, say 2-3 years ago, it would seem absolutely impossible. But again, Bethesda, good old Todd Howard, main man Todd Howard, made consoles have the ability to download mods with, I think it's the Bethesda Creation Club, something like that, with, I think, Fallout 4 and Skyrim on next-gen consoles, and it is now actually a possibility. This isn't just a theory, this is something which could happen. But of course, in order for this to happen, Hello Games would have to make official mod support. So essentially, this point can only become a reality if the previous one happens. I do, however, think that this is something Hello Games is looking into. How this would be done is honestly anyone's guess, but if I'm going purely off Bethesda's methods of doing so, the devs would just have to have a similar system where essentially there is a store in-game where users can download mods and the console does it all for them. You don't have to piss around in the files, you don't have to worry about crashing, anything like that. It all caters for you. Fucking peasants. It would just be the easiest way to go about things, and the way it's done with Fallout and Skyrim on consoles show that it is indeed possible and really not too difficult. Mods in general though would just solve the issue with No Man's Sky becoming a bit stale a few weeks after the update drops. Once the novelty wears off, you know, you're kind of a bit unsure of what to do, and mods would buy the devs time because the community is essentially boosting the game's performance through unofficial additions. It works in both favor of the developers and the console player base, so really it makes sense. And plus, at the end of the day, it would remove arguably the biggest selling point of No Man's Sky on PC, the ability to mod the game, and as such this would bring the two communities a shit ton closer together. Second last thing which I want to touch on now is probably the biggest and the most likely thing which people will bring up, and that is the return of all cut content, pre-release features, everything that was advertised before the game released that isn't in the game at this very point in time. Now this is a very important one to talk about, but I'm not going to talk about how the game is missing shit and all of that because we know that story to death. I don't have to rub it in. But over time, through No Man's Sky's life, and especially recently, updates Hello Games have made to the game have added in missing features that were promised pre-release, like crash freighters, co-op, desert planets, etc. And all I want is for No Man's Sky to eventually become identical to the game that was sold to us. And no, I'm not expecting it to be perfect and exactly the same. Of course, most things will be better than what was advertised, like the ship UI, things like that. I'm just not banking on them delivering on these tiny promises like character customization or landing on asteroids, something like that. But just the big fat ones that people care about are the ones I care about. Things like true multiplayer, being able to see another player, everything's animated, you can see them fly their ship, better animals, all of these really crazy looking planets, space battles, faction wars, big fuck off worms, you know, the standard shit that people talk about. But honestly, this is a given because updates have done this already, especially with Atlas Rises and the amount of cut content this added in. There isn't a reason for the progress not to continue. In a year's time, I have absolutely 100% faith in Hello Games to make No Man's Sky the game we were sold. I mean, at this point in time, it's already pretty damn close, but it can only get better from here. And the last thing which I want to touch on is a bit of a small one, but it is still important to talk about nonetheless, and that is a pretty big optimization update. Now this is a bit of a funky one for me because all of my complaints with optimization comes from mods, so I can't really chat too much shit about the game, but I have heard from a lot of people, and I know this has got better since launch, but some people still find the game quite difficult to run. Even with fairly decent computers, people still have things like crashing and stuttering, especially with big animals, or mining loads of emerald with like particle effects. Make it so a lot more computers can run it to a decent extent, but also consoles. People are complaining that the console frame rate is sometimes a little bit shaky, and I think an optimization update would just make the experience feel a little bit smoother. So those are basically all of the things which I do want to talk about in this video. As always, do please let me know if you have anything which you would like to talk about in the comment section down below. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. If you did enjoy it, then please do feel free to show your support on it by dropping a nice big fat like. And if you guys could also subscribe to MZK, then I'd be absolutely fantastic. And as always, I will see you guys on my next video. This is SkintBoot, signing out.